Okay, so this is how to upgrade the stereo in the L322. So this unit we've got here is a Chinese made unit. We're going to try and fit this one into our HSE spec Range Rover. Okay, now the first thing, if you look at the other videos, you'll know how to remove the dash and then remove this center sort of carrier that carries the original stereo. Remove the original stereo, and then what you'll do, firstly when you offer this up, you'll notice it doesn't go back fully at the edge here because of this top section here. So what I'm going to do quickly is chop that top section back. It's a bit crude, but I think it'll give the best fit at the end of the day. So I'm going to put that stereo to one side. Okay, now for speed, for cutting, we're going to use a small angle grinder with a diamond wheel. It's probably recommendable to take these wood trims off on your car, but again for speed we'll have a go at doing it quickly. Now, so again you should use goggles, and there may be a better way of doing that. But that's a fairly quick way of removing that front plastic section. Okay, so let's grab the stereo again. Okay. So this stereo's got Sat Nav built in, DVD player. Right, now that sits in there much better now. So when we put it in the dash, that should all line up nicely. Okay, so now we've got it fitting fine in here. The next issue we've got is that one of the connectors in the back of the stereo comes so close to this bracket. We just need to notch out an area on this bracket. So I'm going to do that quickly. Again, I'm going to use the same grinder to do that, just to do it quickly for the video. Now I cut two slots there, as you probably saw, and just snap that out. And let's just check now whether that allows the stereo to fit in. And yep, and that should give us enough access there to get the wires into that connector. Okay, so this is the fitting kit we get with this stereo. So there's an English instruction booklet, remote control, which I guess you can use from the back seats. Not quite sure of that. A label there. Right, then there's the GPS antenna, will fit in a minute, so that's obviously what works the Sat Nav. Okay, there's an aerial connector, we'll take a look at that in a minute. An Ipod lead, we'll take a look at that. There's a USB lead that goes in the front, and then this is the main one that we'll do now, and this is the main stereo connection lead. And this widget box here controls the CAN bus, so that when you do the volume up and down controls, it works off the steering wheel. Okay, so this is the connector that plugs into the connector on the loom. Now the car we've got here is a HSE, not a Vogue. So this really is the fitting for the HSE, which doesn't have an amp in the boot. Now if you see these flat pins here, they plug into pins that you can't really see, but they're down each side of these blue bars here. So if you get that, so you need to start with this connector in that upright position. Like so, and then as you push them together and put that down, it will make those two together and lock. So that then gives us, so the CAN bus controller can go out the way, and then we need to fit these. So here's our stereo assembly in the cradle, and we now need to fit this black connector into this black plug next to the fuse on the side. Okay, so that one should fit into there. Okay. Right, now the next lead we can do is the GPS antenna, which I'll grab from here. Okay, untie this one. I should have done that to make the video quicker. Okay, now what we found the best way to route this is at the front of the dash. There is a hole, okay, that you can route that through there, and it's more than long enough what you need. Okay, and if you put that at the front there, just in front of the red sensor there, and then put the excess back in the cavity there behind the dash, and then plug in the it's a screw-in connector. So as you screw this down, and it's marked on here GPS antenna, so you know you're getting it in the right one. Okay, so that's it. It gets a little bit tight as it pulls in, and then it pulls it in. Okay, so you'll know it's tight. This connection here will go nice and tight. Okay, so that's those two connections done. Okay, the next connector we've got here is this white Ipod iPhone connector lead, which will charge your iPhone as well as allow it to communicate with your iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, it will communicate with another phone with Bluetooth. Okay, now the way to thread this up is, if I just put this out of the way for a moment, is okay, you need to remove the side panel here, okay, which just pulls away. Just pull it this way. It's screwed at the back, but it'll give you enough room to put your hand up behind here. Okay, so if you thread that up, you should be able to go inside the dash here and see him just coming up in here. Because it's a white lead, it's quite easy to see. You get your fingers down in here, you should be able to. There you go. Okay, so that's grab that one. Okay, so just grab the stereo here. Okay, and that then plugs into the back here. Okay, like that, and it is actually marked there. It's got Ipod marked in the rear casing, which is convenient. Okay, so that's those done. Okay, the next thing we need to fit in is the aerial lead. So if you fit this big one into the section there that says radio, okay, that fits in, and then you have a connector here. Right, you want to connect the FM one into the original Loom stereo aerial connector, which, there we go, which is part of the original Loom. Got it here. This one here, okay. So that one there, and you want to put the FM one into that. Okay, so if you push that in, there's a little toggle there. Okay, and that clips in. So that's the FM. There isn't an AM stereo connector on my car. Okay, so that's everything there. And then that's for the automatic antenna control, which I don't think we need. So that all fits in. And then that's all we need in terms of rear connections. Okay, so that's all ready to go. And what we need to do is make sure that we don't trap any wires as we put this in. Okay, and then this then installs into the dash like that. And then what you can do is you can put a couple of fixing screws just to clamp the stereo. I would suggest some self-tappers into the plastic just to balance it up and clamp it on each side. Okay, and then you've got your 6 fixing screws to put back in. You've got 2 here, 2 there, and then there's the 2, 1 in there and 1 in there. And then it's a question of putting your dash top back on. Okay, but again, you can see our other videos for this, but just to see what it looks like with the dash top back on. Mind your GPS module at the rear. Okay, put that on, and that should, there we go, slot into place. And that's what the finished item looks like. So if you just look from the side, you'll see that it is quite flush, much flusher than the other stereo we've got that sits over this front lip. Okay, and we'll do another video where we show you some of the functionality of this unit. Okay, that's the basic fitting.